us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Well, good afternoon. How you doing? It's October the 3rd, 2024. Welcome to episode 95 of Thinking Theologian as we continue our journey through the scriptures. So we're still in the book of Matthew. And so today we read Matthew chapter 7 through 8. The title of today is Jesus Will Touch the Unclean. The focal verse is in Matthew 8:3, and this is what it says. It says, Jesus, reaching out his hand, Jesus touched him, saying, I am willing, be made clean. Immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And so we need to understand is that, we all have done some pretty dirty jobs in our life. I know I have done some pretty dirty jobs in my life. The worst was when I was working in the restaurant business and I had to clean bathrooms all the time. And those things, the things that people would do in the bathrooms and leave behind for other people to clean up was absolutely horrendous. The things I had to do in some of the restaurants I worked in. And we all took turns cleaning the bathrooms, but some of the things I got into, like if social media would have been a thing back then, it would have been all over the place. It was absolutely just gross. And so, but the filth and the disregard for courtesy would always shock me. It's like, somebody's got to clean this up, and it's not okay that you did this. But one thing is certain, I did not want to touch anything without gloves. I wasn't going in there, hands free, going in there cleaning stuff up. That was not going to happen. It was just a dirty job. And so in our reading today, we cover lots of ground in Matthew. Here in this verse, we see a man of leprosy. And so we need to understand that the Jewish people found leprosy of people to be unclean. If you had leprosy, you were unclean. They took it even so far that if you were even downwind from somebody who had leprosy, they thought you could catch it, be contagious. So much less touching somebody. And so it was just they thought these people were dirty. They were unclean. They would make them unclean, cause all types of problems. And so that's kind of how they viewed it. And so here we see that Jesus, in a shocking display of love, reached out and touched this man. All right. We don't know how he touched him. I wonder sometimes if he cupped his face in his hands. I'm not sure how it was, but he touched him. And this act violated many laws and demonstrated that Jesus didn't play by the rules. He did things differently than everybody else. He was going to do what served the people first, not what tradition dictated that he did. Not what tradition dictated. And so that's what he did with this man. He did something different. So not only did Jesus touch this man, he also healed him completely. So he broke the law and then demonstrated his godliness by what he did. And this man was not so unclean and he wasn't too far gone. Jesus still saw something in him that he needed to do and accomplish, and he did it. And so many people believe that they're too unclean for Jesus. I've met people, had conversations with people. They're like, Jesus can't do anything work in my life. The sins I've done, the things I've been through in my life, God will never forgive me. You're never too unclean for Jesus. They have done, some people believe they've done something, they think they're tainted. And nobody would ever love them or forgive them because of their sins. Now, know this. You are never too far gone for Jesus. You're never too unclean for Christ to work in your life. This same Jesus who touched a leper will also touch your soul. He will bring you from death to life. Jesus is the only one who can do this. So if you're struggling today with God's love and forgiveness, know that he will forgive you. If you feel unloved, know that he loves you. If you feel shunned by others, know that he will accept you. The worst parts of yourself have no power compared to Christ. And so he will change you because he's the only one who can. Just as he touched the unclean, so he will touch you also. And so I want you, and I need to get this message also, is that we're never too far gone for God to do a work in our life and to move in us in a way that is awesome and amazing, because Jesus is the only one who can do what nobody else can do. And so when we get that through our minds and our hearts, it will change us forever. And Jesus demonstrated here that the religious rules were not going to be enough to stop him from doing what he needed to do, which was minister to people. And if more people understood this, things would go different. I've been in situations before where people wanted me to conform to their rules and the things that were going on, but often I had to go and do things differently, not because I was trying to be rude or insubordinate, but because people needed help, and what they needed help with was more important than the rules. And Jesus is demonstrating on a larger scale, on a godly scale, that yes, you have these religious rules, but I'm going to break these rules because you're missing the point. And so the same applies to you. He will break the rules of what people thought for you, and that you're never too far gone or too tainted for him, that he will do a work in your life. So be encouraged today that just as Jesus could heal the leper, he will also heal and do a work in your life. So tomorrow, we're going to be in Matthew chapter 9 through 10. Be encouraged. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.